Hi, Dr. Marcia Sirota here with another in my video series on our summer of self-care. And today I want to talk about how to break up with somebody. Whether it's a friend or a romantic partner, it can be very awkward sometimes breaking up. But if you've come to the decision that this relationship isn't working for you, then you need to be able to break up in a way that works best for you and causes the least amount of stress for everyone involved. Now, some people feel the need to have these very lengthy breakup sessions where they have these long conversations and hash everything out, but I disagree with that. I think that causes unnecessary pain because you're breaking up anyway. What is the point of going on and on about it? It just creates more bad feelings. To me, the best breakup is very short and concise and kind so that the person that you're breaking up with is not distressed and that you don't get caught up in having to explain or justify your decision. Now, I was talking to a person the other day who was telling me that they were cutting some friends out of their life. And the reason they were doing this is because they realized that their friends were very much like their parents, who were quite selfish and hurtful and exploitative. And they realized that they were tired of having these kinds of people in their life and they wanted to stop seeing them. But they were afraid of how to confront them and say, I don't want to be your friend anymore, because they were afraid this person was going to be unreasonable or difficult or demand an explanation or demand that they justify their point of view or get into something with them. So my advice was that they didn't have to explain, they didn't have to justify, and they didn't have to wait for the other person's approval. They just had to say, you know what, we're not compatible. It's just not working out. I wish you all the best, but I'm getting on with my life. And I think that sometimes that's the best way to do it, because if you are expecting the other person to be unreasonable, there's no point in trying to explain things to them. Nothing is going to satisfy them. Nothing you say is going to make them feel okay about the breakup. So just do it in the simplest, clearest way possible. And if you're worried about their getting angry or even physically violent with you, don't do it in person. You can do it on the phone, you can do it by text, you can do it by email. I know some people think it's very rude, but if you are protecting yourself, if you have an issue of safety, then do not feel you owe them doing it in person. In fact, sometimes doing it in person is more hurtful because the person is right there with you and they're embarrassed and uncomfortable. So sometimes it's actually kinder to do it by phone or by some kind of other way so that the other person doesn't have to look you in the face while they're being rejected. Now, if you've gotten to the point where, you really see this person as somebody who's toxic in your life, you really don't owe them anything. You don't even owe them politeness if they start being aggressive or hostile with you. So if you say, you know what, I don't think this is working out, I think we should just go on our separate ways, and the person starts giving you a hard time, you don't have to engage with them. You can just say, that's how I feel, don't contact me, goodbye, and end the conversation. You don't have to appease them. You don't have to wait till they're feeling better to end the conversation. You don't owe them anything. If somebody's being rude or hostile or difficult with you, you don't owe them anything. Take care of yourself, end the conversation, because it's not going anywhere beneficial for anyone. And if the person is reasonable and you just feel like you have nothing in common, you can just say, I really don't feel like we have anything in common and it's just not working out for me, so I wish you all the best, but I think we just need to go our separate ways. And hopefully that person will say, I'm really sorry to hear that, but okay, fine, what can I say? A respectful person won't like it if you break up with them, but they will accept it. A disrespectful person will argue with you and challenge you. And that's one of the things you want to remember. So if they are unreasonable or disrespectful, it's about them, not about you. You don't ever have to feel like you have to explain or justify or anticipate their reaction. As long as you've done it in a kind and polite way, you're off the hook. And again, like I said, you don't even owe them politeness if they start being really difficult with you. Just cut the conversation, take care of yourself. If you've gotten to the point where you realize that the relationship is so toxic and dysfunctional and it's really hurting you that you really have to get out, then you've already decided that this person isn't reasonable. So knowing that, going into it, keep it really brief and don't do it in person, because why get into an argument? Just make it as simple and brief as possible. Send them an email and say, you know what, I don't feel like things are working out. I don't feel like we're on the same page. I'm going to move on with my life. I wish you all the best. We don't have to be in touch anymore. Be very, very brief. And if they contact you again, you don't have to contact them back. You have made the breakup, you have expressed your point of view. It should be clear, and if they keep bothering you, you don't have to. Now, if they hound you, there's two things you can do. One is you can say it one more time. You can say, you know, I've told you I don't want to have anything more to do with you. I feel like we're not on the same page, and I wish you will not contact me again. Please do not contact me again. And then if they continue to contact you again, then you have to consider contacting the authorities, because that's called stalking and it's against the law. So you have to know that you deserve to set your boundaries, to set your limits, and have the other person respect them. Even if they're not a respectful person, they are still obligated to respect your boundaries, because that's the law, actually. So don't be afraid to have that confrontation, but do it in a way that most benefits you, and that is simplest and easiest and the least stressful. You don't have to explain, you don't have to justify, you don't have to wait for the other person to understand or approve. If the other person says, I don't understand, explain it to me, you don't have to. It's not about their feelings, it's about you taking care of yourself. If they don't understand, you can say, I'm sorry you don't understand, it's just the way I feel. I'm sorry you don't understand, it's just the way I feel. You know, you're not a bad person, I'm not a bad person, we're just not compatible. I wish you all the best. And that's all you need to do. You don't need to wait until they're okay. You don't need to wait till they understand, till they accept, till they approve. You know, you don't have to wait for them to be okay with it. This is something you're doing for yourself. You're not responsible for their reaction. They can go deal with their reaction with the other people in their life. And maybe it's a lesson for them. If you're one of the several people who have been breaking up with them recently, perhaps it will be an opportunity for them to do some soul searching and to go, people keep breaking up with me. Maybe there's something I'm doing that's responsible for it, or maybe not. But again, that's not your responsibility. So how to break up with somebody? Do it simply, politely, kindly, and very clearly. Do not go, I don't have time. Do not go, you know, I'm too busy, because that leaves a door open for when you maybe do have time or when you're less busy. Do not go, well, you know, it's kind of like this, it's kind of like that. Don't hem and haw, because if you're not clear, you allow the other person to interpret it their own way. Be very clear. It's not working out. We're not compatible. I'm just not feeling it. I think we should go our separate ways. I wish you all the best. You know, I'm going to get on with my life. You know, I'm sure you will as well. And, you know, no hard feelings. Be clear, because when you're not clear, you leave the door open for misunderstanding, and, you know, they can keep their foot in the door. So don't be vague. Don't make euphemisms like I'm too busy, because, you know, they're going to wait till you're less busy and jump right in again. So clarity is important. Kindness is important. Being polite and respectful is important. But again, if they are really giving you a hard time, just cut. You don't have to be nice anymore, because once they are rude, they have forfeited their right to your politeness and your kindness. And also remember, if they have a bad reaction, that's about them. You're not obliged to make them understand or accept or approve of your breakup. That's on them. You just take care of you. And again, remember, don't put yourself in harm's way. If you don't feel safe, make sure you don't do it in person. Make sure you do it in a way that you're not going to get yourself into trouble. And you can always contact the authorities if you feel that this person is stalking you and they won't take no for an answer, because that is the law. And if somebody will not walk away, you are entitled to call the authorities and make sure that they get the person to walk away. This is Dr. Marcia Sirota in another of my video series on our summer of self-care, wishing you all the best with your healthy and positive relationships, and I'll be talking to you real soon.